Hello and welcome to Some of My Friends Read Comics. We've got Vince.
Oh no, I've even started using my own name as a synonym for failure.
We've got Chris.
Oh boy, well mine is the same. I've made a real porcadillo out of this one.
Oh, boy, this Porcadillo character, I really turned around on him, I think, in this back half here. But we are not reading, it's not called the Porcadillo
It's
comic.
not called
We'll get to the
Superman's
Porcadillo.
pal, Jimmy Olsen's pal, Porcadillo.
the Porcadillo who just wants headshots. No, this is, we're reading Jimmy Olsen. We're reading this pretty recent 12-issue maxi series. Oh, my name's Kia. Did I say that? Hi, everyone. We're reading the back half of this Jimmy Olsen series, issues 7 through 12. It won an Eisner. Whoa, holy cow. Did it deserve an Eisner? Ooh, we'll talk about that. After that, we're going to keep on reading The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. We're on chapter 4. So we'll get to that after the Jimmy Olsen stuff. But yeah, so it's okay. So we should probably recap the first 6 issues of what happened in Jimmy Olsen last time here. Jimmy Olsen is Superman's pal. And somebody's trying to kill him, and we don't know who. But there's like a lot of people who hate him for a lot of different reasons. And his body double got killed. And he's like, oh my God, somebody is trying to kill me. And a lot of stuff happened. I think we just go. Is there anything else we got to say? If my voice sounds rough, I've been hooting and hollering for the past 2 weeks. But yeah, I think we just jump into it. Anything else y'all think we got to remind the folks of?
No, I mean, it's fun. It's by Matt Fraction and Stephen Lieber.
Yes. Good call.
Matt Fraction, who wrote Hawkeye. The Hawkeye that looks like the Disney Plus series is based on. The Disney Plus series just had a trailer come out, so I think that we didn't mention that in the last episode. So.
Oh. Okay. So maybe we'll do some Hawkeye sometime soon.
Yeah,
here.
but Matt Fraction's kind of it's a fun, jumpy book. And I think that there was a plot point that there was a time capsule with a secret photo that there might be a secret Olsen Luthor baby.
Right. Yeah. The first couple of issues, we had interludes of the Olsen and Luthor families.
Yep. There's lots of time jumping as well throughout this book. I don't really know if it is still going in this back half or if it kind of is still going. Yeah, it does jump around in time a lot.
Yeah, there's less of it. We kind of know what's going on by this point.
Exactly. I think, the outline makes a little bit more sense overall. So when it does jump in time, it's not as jarring. But this issue number 7, let's get into it. Opens with Superman's source of anxiety, Jimmy Olsen. I think I like that they're still doing these gags with the beginning of each chapter here. I didn't think they were as fun, but some of them they are still very good. But his therapist is telling him how there's 5 different versions of Jimmy. He's hiding behind them, all that kind of stuff. And there's like flashbacks to him and his brother and sister being kids. His brother and sister really, I think, end up being kind of the biggest supporting characters in this story here. His sister is Janie, who is they call it Broadway, or do they call it something different here in the DC universe?
I think she was. I don't know. She was. She may just be off Broadway. She had a famous one-act play, and she may have won a Pulitzer for it. I recall. Anyway, she was cool. She was goth. I didn't know a darn thing about either of Jimmy's siblings going into this, but I'm happy to know them.
Yeah. Julian is the older brother. He's a jerk. He's like the one who wants to be rich and use all the Olsen money to build buildings. Ooh, cool buildings. But they're talking about their dreams and everything. And, Janie says she wants to be an actress, all that stuff. But really, she just wants to be an actress so that she can then go and do like indie projects that she's passionate about, whatever. But Jimmy says like all this crazy stuff, like he wants to go fight stuff and eat pies on the moon in space.
What was my favorite one? I wrote it down. It's like, I want to have 100 dogs that are ninjas. That was my favorite one.
Yeah.
This definitely was a Vince pitch session.
I read this and I was gonna be like, I think this is Vince's favorite page in the whole comic.
It was really good. It was also in the Charlie Brown style, the Peanut style.
Yes, there's there's that barn, that red. It's not a barn, a doghouse. That's what I'm thinking of. That Snoopy likes to sleep on top of. We definitely had one of those. But his brother's like, why would you ever want to leave Metropolis? Blah, blah, blah. We've also got Detective Corrigan, not that James Corrigan, different James Corrigan. And he keeps reminding us of that throughout the whole book, that he's a different James Corrigan. But he's investigating this Gotham apartment that Jimmy was staying at. And, the guy's talking about the Coitons again. He's mentioned the Coitons 17 times. He just loves to talk about Coitons.
Coitons
the
and
Star Lab
Moitas.
scientist.
Moitas.
That Star Lab scientist, Dr. Anton Mantell, he had gotten sucked into a little dimension and then came popping out, right? And Jimmy was like, he was all messed up because he thought that guy disappeared. He runs in and he's warning about space danger. He's like, there's going to be space danger, some kind of space danger. I don't know. But the detective doesn't believe him. He's like, who are you? But a spaceship crashes. And it's, boy, I feel like there's so many different points I'm trying to bring up here. I'm just talking nonstop. All right, the spaceship crashes. Inside, it is Jixelle, who is the daughter of Dr. Anton Mantell and also the wife of Jimmy Olsen, because they got drunk one night in Gorilla City and they got married. And Jimmy was supposed to annul the marriage, but he didn't do it. So now she is trying to get married to another alien, and she can't.
Well, no, she's not just trying. What happened is
you're right.
alien who looks like Trigon from Teen Titans. He has decided he's enslaving her planet, and he's going to force her into marriage, but he can't because she's already married to somebody else.
Right.
So he's mad also at Jimmy for not annulling the marriage. It's a fun thing.
Right.
And apparently this all happened very recently in this thing called Superman Leviathan. I don't know who wrote. It looks like the short.
Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah, Bendis. Okay. It looks like though the specific part where they got married was written by Fraction in this Superman Leviathan 80 pager. But I don't know how much Bendis forced it into the world or what. So
no, yeah, it seems like it's Matt Fraction's idea that he's bringing back a character that I think that was her only appearance, was that she married Jimmy Olsen and sort of looks like Lois Lane with wearing a domino mask.
She's actually fun though. I really like her. So
yeah, she's a great character. Too. I love later when you see her without her mask and she has a very prominent mask tan line. I don't know if we mentioned Larry Lieber does the art. His art is so funny. He does so much legwork to make these jokes work.
Steve Lieber, not Larry Lieber.
Steve Lieber is what I have.
That's right.
But there's a really nice. Yeah, there's a pretty nice scene throughout most of this. Jimmy and Janie are kind of traveling together. They're driving around. And they go to Opal City because he's kind of still on the run. He's got to find a different place to go, but he hates it there. And he's like, no, I can't stay here in Opal City, which is weird because they stay in Gotham. Apparently they I don't know. They stay everywhere, but Opal City is no good. I couldn't figure out the gag of why not.
Yeah, I didn't get. I mean, I think the gag is that everybody dresses like Jimmy Olsen and is a weirdo, but I don't know. That joke didn't really work for me.
Yeah, he's like, I can't be here. He's got to stand out, be the center of attention, or something like that. Whatever. But no, during the whole car ride, he's just going on and on about how great Superman is, and he's like, oh, he could lift this and he could lift that, and he's just the best, and it's nice. Superman's barely in this book, but it is, you definitely see that friendship. Or I guess he's barely in the back half here. I'm just blazing through it. That was all the notes I had for issue 7. Let's keep going.
Yeah,
Issue 8. Jimmy's rich brother is reading the paper and he comically spits all over it because it's the reign of the subpar men. And you've got a cyborg version of Jimmy who does it for the grams. Don't forget to like and fave. He's always saying, which I thought was weird. You don't like and fave something. Those are different things on different services. Anyway, Steel Jimmy, who I think, why did I write down that Steel was my favorite one? Is it just
because he was kind of like the Terminator and he was falling apart. It's really funny. I like it.
My favorite is definitely the Superboy, whatever.
The Superboy, the '90s version.
Yes,
the
'90s
kid
Jimmy.
With with physical media CDs.
He just has CDs falling out of his pockets at all times.
And the fourth one, I wrote down the Jim Radicator, but it turns out it was just 2 kids in a suit or something. Did y'all see that site gag?
I did. Did we explicitly say that these are supposed to be parodies on like Death of Superman, and Return of Superman?
We
we didn't explain the joke, but that is the joke.
I like the joke. It was cute. But so then his space wife shows up, and Jixel, and like people are just slowly coming together. Now we got Jixel and James Corrigan and the Doctor. They're showing up, and Jixel's mad at him, didn't get the marriage annulled, and they're spending a lot of time talking about Gorilla City. I think this might have been my favorite scene in the book, just their conversation about Gorilla City. And she's like, excuse me, did you forget what happened the last time you were in Gorilla City? And he's like telling her all about the last time, which is not the time that they were together. It was the last time that you were there. She's like, what? You've been there multiple times? What are you doing?
It's a really good bit.
I want to go to Gorilla City.
I feel like I'm gonna use that every time I'm like talk about Vegas or something, and I'm gonna be like,
"It's good. It's Gorilla City from now on." Yeah. Oh man. So the gorilla stuff was fun. Issue 9 is where we get into everything that's all about the Porkadillo, though. Who was
the Porkadillo is in this one. He meets Corrigan,
right.
who tries to arrest him, and he like bursts through his door, and then he like apologizes immediately.
Yes. He's pretty good. He decides he's going to be a supervillain, and there's like a Batman parody scene where a croc goes flying through his window, and he's like, am I going to be Killer Croc or what? Like, what is this? But he's just a Porkadillo who wears Crocs. Man, this guy sucks.
I love him. He's not Annihilator Jr.
That's right. His parents, his mom and dad, were Annihilator.
Grandfather, I think, and dad.
Yes. Annihilator, and he wanted to make his own name in the supervillain biz. But he was gonna go to a supervillain meeting, and he was like, I gotta get some headshots. And James Corrigan's like, y'all do headshots in the supervillain industry like that? And he's like, well, no, but I didn't know at the time. But he goes to Jimmy Olsen for headshots, which is a very sweet scene. And he gets along with Jimmy so much, he promises him, hey, if I ever find out that anybody's going to try to kill you, I'm going to do my best to stop it. Seems like a very specific kind of a thing to say, but, they're friends. Meanwhile, Jimmy goes and confronts Lex somewhere. Why does Jimmy keep on confronting Lex in places? Whatever. He goes and confronts him, and Lex says, Jimmy, it's your brother trying to kill you. Oh, no. Jimmy's own brother trying to kill him. I can't believe it. But this is only issue 9. I'm sure we'll see another twist coming up.
I like that, though. I like this Lex Luthor that's clearly a villain, but also I'm so much better than you, and I'm still trying to help you out, boy. I really like that. I really like this characterization of Luthor.
Yeah, he's not the villain, but he is a villain, Yeah, he's just kind of doing
plotting
whatever
against
benefits
Jimmy.
him.
Yeah, he's even plotting against Jimmy in some weird ways, but not. It's such a weird characterization. I can't put my finger on it. It's different than what I'm used to, and I like it.
Yeah, I like it. So issue 10, is that really all I wrote down for issue 9? Who knows? We're blazing through this. The
only other part is that they introduce arm fall off guy or whatever his name was. Yeah. And
what was that all
sort
about?
of a special interest thing. Yeah, he's basically reporting on things. Perry doesn't like it. He's like, this is inappropriate and weird because it's his whole family, and there's butt fall off grandma and all these.
Yeah, he's Jaime Olsen, which I thought was pretty funny. He's really is, for a guy who's pretending to be dead, though, he's really starting to put himself out there a little too much for my liking. I think he needs to lay it just a teensy bit lower.
Yeah. Well, we also didn't mention the previous issue where he goes to the town where nothing happens, and the mayor is like, "Oh, good. This is really going to stimulate the economy. Jimmy Olsen being here." And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then a spaceship crashes into a building.
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, it's the Olsen effect or whatever. When bad things follow Jimmy Olsen around, the federal government will pay for repairs." So yeah, it's immediately that spaceship busts in. Beautiful. So In issue 10, Julian Olsen finds out that he does not have access to all of the Olsen funds because some of it still belongs to Jimmy, but Jimmy has never accessed them, so they're locked. Too bad, Julian. He's got to figure out what he's going to do.
So we're validated that Julian likely is trying to kill Jimmy. But Luther's not just lying. This is also because this is our most modern comic that we've read, I think, to date. This is also starting to show ads about the pandemic, which are really weird. And I think like crass and like on the nose. Like the one for this issue is it's got Superman sitting in the Fortress of Solitude and says, "Be like Superman, stay in your Fortress of Solitude."
Yeah.
I don't know who this would have an effect on if somebody was on the bubble about quarantining themselves. You know
who it's gonna have an effect? It's people who go to the comic book shop and they read it on the stands. And then they see it and they're like, "Oh shit!
Yeah,
I should stay at home."
Stupid social justice Superman fighting the Klan, telling me to stay.
Because the previous issue, I think, was like clearly just a picture of art of like Wonder Woman lassoing Batman, but it was like they were far enough apart. And it says, "Stay 6 feet apart," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like I'm all for quarantine. Get vaccinated. Wear your masks.
It's weird. They're weird ads,
but they're really weird ads, and I don't know who they're for, and I don't know what their point is. They're very weird.
Also, if Superman and Wonder Woman are like they're being 6 feet apart, put some masks on too. Can't hurt. Why are they wearing masks?
Yeah, Batman, cover your mouth and nose, the two parts of your face that aren't covered.
Yeah,
I think this may be like in the month where we weren't wearing masks at the beginning.
It is 2019, 2020. So I don't know if we were wearing masks by like June of 2020 or
whenever they were published. Yeah, when this was published, definitely.
But yeah, anyway, and then there's also this is when what is it, Jix, his wife, because he forgot to annul their marriage. Her fiance shows up outside of a bodega basically, and they start throwing bananas and banana peels at.
Yeah.
This is not Trigon, but that's what I've been calling him because I don't know his real name.
What is his name? I don't even remember.
I don't remember either. I like him though. He's got a good design, and he looks consistently angry. And that's like a good character design.
Yeah, I like in this scene he's wearing a tuxedo top but no pants.
Yeah, that's good.
But then he's got those fun flared boots like Captain. Who has those? Does Superman have those boots with like the weird cuff
Captain America has those pirate boots.
Yeah, but they're white. It's a good look.
It is a good look. George Perez, master of drawing people with pirate boots. Taskmaster, so many of your favorites. Co-creator of Trigon.
Who's this isn't?
No,
but not him. But George Perez created that guy.
But I gotta clarify. We're not saying Trigun. We're saying Trigon, not the anime comic book character. Also, what's better than boots? Crocs. Porcadillo. Porcadillo's going to the Assassin's Auction thing. It's like a meeting where Mr. X, he's like a guy. He looks like Baron Zemo to me. He's got that purple hood on.
Yeah, but or the Rose, the Spider-Man villain.
The Rose? What? Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, he had a purple mask. He was Kingpin's son. Spoiler alert.
I don't remember him at all.
No, Kingpin's son was somebody that he was worried about in the Spider-Verse. But was that a different Spider-Verse?
I mean, Spider-Verse isn't in the Marvel Universe. I hate to tell you this.
Okay. All right.
Are we mixing up our canons? So Porcadillo, he's at this auction. This guy says, like, bring me the head of Jimmy Olsen. And he's like, oh, my God, that's my friend who I swore that I would protect him if I found out that people were trying to kill him. So he is, like, running. He doesn't know. Yeah, he's great. He doesn't know who he's going to tell, but he's like, okay, I'm going to run to my shitty lawyer / landlord to tell him, even though he was kind of bad and, like, Porcadillo got sent to jail for 2 to 4 years.
I liked all the assassins in the room where they're like, we're here to assassinate the man that we thought could not be assassinated. And they're like, Superman? It's probably Superman. And then he reveals that it's Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah. Like, oh, even with all these problems, it's been so difficult because of his friendship with Superman. But this time, we're going to do it. But yeah, he runs to the lawyer, but he's still a giant porcupine man who, he scares the lawyer, has a heart attack, accidentally pricks the receptionist, and is like, "Oh, jeez, let me get out of here."
Is this when the lawyer died, like in a few issues earlier?
Yeah, had a heart
Yeah,
attack.
but I guess he didn't like fully die. I think he just had a heart attack, or did he fully die? I thought I saw him later.
I can't remember who Miss Tessmacher killed. Luther's assistant now. Was that she killed a
She
detective?
she killed a cop. Yeah,
Yeah, that was just the cop that was crooked.
that arrested Jimmy. There's so many people that have been in this, and I feel like a lot of them have died. But now, like, none of them are dead except that one cop. I don't know.
Yeah. So we're starting to loop back around and connect to earlier issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jimmy steals his wife's spaceship for a little while so he can go and attend his own funeral as Sue Donim. And he looks pretty good as a lady. Everybody's into him.
He was pretty foxy, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
His own brother is like,
own brother. Oh, yeah, I got to dance with you. And he's, you know what? He's a little pushy. Not okay. But
disturbing.
His makeup's
the
good.
wig
His makeup's
falls
on
off.
point. He's good.
Yeah, he's got some good eyeshadow.
The wig falls off, and he like kisses his brother and leaves. I'm not quite sure what it accomplished, but
because he didn't he also make like a Godfather line?
Yeah, that was a Godfather reference.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he kisses him on both sides, and then he says, "I know it was you."
No, I see. So now in the next issue, Jimmy goes to the Scrubs. It's a different alien race, and he tells them about he was wronged by this other guy who's trying to steal his wife, and that it's not fair. And the Scrubs are like, "Oh, he's right. They're not fair. The Scrubs are going to help you fight." And I'm wondering is this like a video game joke about like Scrubs yelling about things not being fair? I couldn't quite tell. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. I don't know. They said Scrubs so much though that I was like, it seems like it's supposed to be something, but I don't know.
I mean, all I know is a Scrub is the guy who can't get no love from me.
That's fair. But I like this alien race. They were real gung ho on making sure that nobody could steal Jimmy's wife, and so they were gonna help fight. Meanwhile, that doctor, Jigsel's mom, Jigsel's dad. Go ahead.
Which Jimmy mentions, the Scrub were the aliens that were in a previous episode of ours, Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
Yes, you're right. He did mention that. Yeah. And they were upset that they couldn't beat Muhammad Ali? Is that what's going on? And they're just like looking for another chance to prove themselves?
They wanted a fair fight between Superman and Muhammad Ali, so they had to take away all of Superman's powers.
I gotcha. They're very fair. They're all about being fair. The doctor has a really nice like paper hat. I don't know why he's wearing a paper hat, just to make him look crazier, I think. But he's made an ulsonogram to find Jimmy. It's going to lock in on his DNA for some reason. But it keeps saying that there is an Olsen somewhere in Metropolis, but also where's Jimmy? But he comes flying in on the spaceship. Then the big war happens, and everybody is showing up to help Jimmy. Especially, everyone's like, "Is it going to be Superman? Is it going to be Superman?" It's Metamorpho. Whatever. But I like that Metamorpho makes like a little suit for Jimmy, like out of himself. He like covers Jimmy up, so he looks like Metamorpho. I think that's pretty neat. The face being on the crotches is kind of weird.
It is a very weird image. It's
very weird. Could have been on the chest, maybe.
It could have been, but that wouldn't be funny or disturbing. I think is what they were going for. And some of those jokers that were trying to fit in the grocery store are still there.
Some of the jokers that were trying
Jimmy trying to put as many jokers as possible.
Yeah.
His
Gotham City Joker pranks.
That's fun. There were a lot of people. It was I like the way they described this whole big fight scene, that it's kind of like Crisis, and we're gonna zoom in on a whole bunch of people who would normally get their own series, and you could learn more about them there. But we're not gonna get.
I call it a whole maxi series of background gags and throwaway characters. I thought that was also alluding to this series of like every single background character from this. Well,
it does get more and more self-aware as we go through this. Like when we go to that Gotham apartment, they're like, "Oh, are we here again? What are we doing here?"
Yeah.
And like the narration really is like, "Yeah, we've lost track of things, but just stick with us. It's okay. We know."
This reminds me also a lot, and I don't think it's intentional, of Teen Titans Go Meet Teen Titans. It was a cartoon movie where they met like the Teen Titans from like the '04 series, and there's the same voice actors for both. But the final scene, it was like a Trigon from that series meeting up with a Trigon from Teen Titans Go. A lot of Trigon, so I'm on board.
A lot of Trigon.
And then they just started pulling in like every single random Teen Titan that's ever existed. So like Octopus Teen Titans were just there. It was really dumb, but it was a lot of fun. And it's a similar like city battle like this during the daytime with a bunch of Jimmy Olsens instead. And I'm just wanting to put a recommendation out for that movie. If you like this, I would recommend Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans.
I'll have to check that out because Teen Titans Go to the Movies set up that movie, which I was not expecting. But
right. They just made a Teen Titans Go see Space Jam where they just MST3K over Space Jam for some reason. It's 90 minutes long. I don't know.
That sounds pretty great.
I mean, I'm not going to watch the new Space Jam.
No, this was the old Space Jam. And the Monstars from that come and like watch it with them. It's weird.
What?
That's odd. I'm not going to rewatch that Space Jam either.
That's very strange.
Too much of my life watching Space Jam.
Teen Titans Go has too much money, is what I'm saying, or weirdly spent money.
Well, you know, I bet that was cheap to make though. If
Yeah,
they were just like putting some stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Anyways, this big fight scene ends, and the good guys prevail because everyone helped everyone's pal, Jimmy Olsen. It's not just Superman's pal. Hooray! Jimmy also got the marriage annulled, so he's not married to Jixelle anymore. And at the very end of this issue, though, we see Detective Jones. This is not the same detective who died, is it? This is Detective Jones, and he makes a secret phone call to Lex Luthor, telling him that Julian Olsen put out the hit.
Yeah, he's in the other side of Porcadillo's story as Porcadillo's trying to tell James Corrigan what happened. And they're like, well, I don't know. What do you think? And they're like, you don't have enough to go on. What are we going to do? Arrest Mr. Metropolis? That's crazy. And then he like runs to a payphone and he's like, Lex, Jimmy Olsen's brother tried to get him murdered.
Yeah, and then immediately after that, he gets confronted by Superman. But I'm not sure what that had to do with anything because we didn't really see much of Superman again.
Well,
why did Superman confront this guy?
It's just to set up the ending. And then Lex has a scene with Julian Olsen where he, again, we were talking about him being a villain, but not the villain of the story. Is just like, I know you've ruined your family's wealth and you had paid to have your brother killed and all of this. And gets him to admit to everything just so he can take a picture of him and like completely defeated.
Yeah, he's like, I love to see my enemies, blah, blah, blah. And he mentioned that to Jimmy as well. He's like, I'm not going to try and kill you. I like to see my enemies get beaten. That's all. On to issue number 12, our big final issue here. The Daily Planet is shutting down because of some stuff that I guess is happening in Action Comics right now.
I didn't expect that. I just assumed that this like self-contained story was like, of course the Daily Planet is not doing well.
Right.
Relying on Jimmy's in like jackass pranks to like keep them afloat. But apparently I guess they really are going under. That's so weird.
I have never felt such an emotional impact from seeing an editor's note saying see Action Comics, because that made me be like, oh, it's real, it's happening. As opposed to just like it's a silly thing in this story. Like, wow.
Yeah, and also an editor's note that I guess that's true. And then an editor's note that says the Daily Planet's going under. Go read another book. And I'm like, I will go read another book for that. For like what happened with Superman fighting Gorilla Grodd. Don't care. The Daily Planet's going under. Oh my stars!
I want to know about. The most effective editor's note I've ever read. So what do we got? We got James Corrigan and the Porcadillo. They go to Julian Olsen's home to like see what's going on with him, but it's cleared out. And then Janie and Jimmy show up, and everyone's together. Hey, Jimmy and his old friend Porcadillo, how's it going? And then they all go together to confront Julian's plane that's taken off. They're in a spaceship, so they can do it fast.
The Bluth stair car shows up at this point also.
Is it the Bluth stair car?
It says
or
Bluth
is it just
Wayne.
something that kind of looks? Yeah. Does it really?
Yeah,
I didn't notice. Oh my god.
I also heard when Julian called himself Mr. X. I definitely heard it in the Ron Howard.
Mr. X.
Mr. X.
Jeez, I didn't realize there is a lot of Arrested Development style in this, isn't there? So they arrest Julian Olsen. Well, they throw a crock at him. That's how they get him. Whatever. And there's a great article in the paper about how Mr. Metropolis has been arrested. This art, did you read the article?
I did. I read every single one of the articles in this book.
God, it's so good. This article is so casually written. I'd love to see newspapers like this.
This newspaper, well, because he's also like, I love you, Miss Copy Editor. I'm so glad I have you. You'll definitely edit this out, assuming that the Daily Planet doesn't go under and you're laid off. I love you, Susan, or whatever her name was.
I like at the end, and it says, okay, the TLDR version, Julian Olsen's bad, tried to kill his brother. All right.
Yeah, all of the comic book, all the newspaper articles were great. Just like mental breakdowns of the writer. You're like, this is the sentence I wrote. I can't believe it.
Yeah. I do like how far the like Reign of the Subpar Men and Fratricide, like there's going, it is New York Post level. Like, what is the joke here? It's so silly.
Yeah, they're so far into being jokes that they're not jokes. Okay, so then we get, see, this is where they meet the lawyer, and I couldn't tell if this was the same lawyer or a different lawyer, but probably a different lawyer. But they are broke now. Jimmy and Janie Olsen are both broke because Julian spent all the money or something, and so they got nothing. They got to get jobs. Janie is not happy about it because she works in theater. That's not where you go to make money.
No.
But she's like, fine, I can get a resume. But then Miss Tessmacher shows up. We haven't seen her all arc.
And we did incorrectly guess that she is not Lois Lane's sister who's in love with Jimmy Olsen wearing a wig. Chris had guessed that last episode.
Was that our guess? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, that sounds because I guess historically Lois Lane's sister's in love with Jimmy Olsen or has a love-hate relationship with him.
Right, in a very toxic relationship.
Well, it still could be. I guess the door is open for that. So she is Lex
just
Luthor's
stringing us along like in this series that's over. You're like, who knows?
Well, maybe there's a future. Maybe there's a future series. Who knows? Right? We don't know.
They did win Best Limited Series for the Eisner last year.
I bet we get a follow up. Yeah, I bet we get a follow up called Jimmy Olsen's pal Superman. That's my guess.
Yeah, Superman's gonna probably get his own book some point.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of characters in this book deserve a book before Superman.
Honestly, I don't know why I liked Pocadillo so much, given the fact
he's good.
He was really like, I was like, oh, I'm happy to see you. Like when the book got good enough that eventually, like the side characters, I'm like, yeah, I'd love to have a scene with you. That's great.
Yeah. So Miss Tessmacher comes in. We talked about this at the very beginning of the episode, but there's like
I had to check off gun it, so we didn't forget it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's but it's Chekhov's like box of family heirlooms, and there's like that picture of like an Olsen Luthor baby. It turns out this baby is Lex Luthor.
Well,
oh my goodness, or something like that. That led to I don't know. All right,
he's got Olsen blood on the Olsenogram.
Yes, it's that their families are connected. That they are related to each other.
That's why the Luthors have red hair every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so Miss Tessmacher is like, yeah, look, he just beat his last enemy, but he doesn't have Julian Olsen to kind of fight for this legal stuff. He likes to fight Superman and that big stuff, the epic whatever. But he likes to have some little challenges as well. And so I brought this to you so that you now know that because you have some Luthor like relation, you have some controlling shares, and you can use that. And so he's like, oh, okay, cool. And so Jimmy goes and does exactly that. He demands that Lex Luthor funds Janie's plays, and he also pays for the Daily Planet. Luthor, like, once he finds out what he's got on him, he eventually has to agree, but he loses it, and he like admits to all this stuff. He's like, I created all this to create this situation where blah blah blah, because I knew
I made you a turtle. I made you crash into the lion thingy. I knew your family was going to get bankrupted by this.
Mm-hmm. And he gets it all on tape. Jimmy Olsen gets it all on tape with his little robot thing, and that's in the paper as well. Lex confesses to citywide chaos campaign. My goodness, I didn't read this.
I didn't read this one too, and the dummy did it all on camera.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's all you can read of it.
That's all you can. Yeah, there we go. That's why I didn't read it. But it's pretty good. And Jimmy Olsen is now the publisher of the Daily Bugle. Pretty nice. And Superman shows up and he's like, hey, I'm fine that you wanted to do all this on your own, but you can ask me for help if you need it. And they're friends, and that's pretty nice. So yeah, I a nice little story. I really did like it by the end. It kind of fell apart in the middle there when there was a lot of threads going on. I'm like, I don't know what to follow, but it got me by the end. I like it. What y'all guys think?
Yeah, I thought it did a really elegant job of going from just sort of being a gag comic to the second half is much more like focused on turning it into more of a story. And I thought that was a nice payoff of, you feel like, oh, these are just set up for jokes. They're not like real. And it's like, no, actually all of this, like this is all the story of the comic. All of it happened. It's all, they even explain some of Porcadillo's, like the craziness of him just seemingly for no reason attacking his lawyer. It's like, no, I was trying to help Jimmy. I just freaked out.
It is. It's all just very nice. It made me smile. So I recommend this. I kind of think I would have enjoyed this more as like reading it once a month or like just little by little, because I don't know, it would have been, I guess I can't really say that for sure, but I feel like maybe I would have.
Yeah, last episode you were questioning whether or not that would be good or not because the book was so scatterbrained in the first episode.
Yeah.
In the first half, the last episode, that like reading it month to month, be like, what the fuck is going on? Because it's not chronological, and it's not entirely clear that it's not chronological for the first issue. But also, it might have been good for talk on the internet, being like, I think that these pieces are coming together, and it's just enough fun gags. And I think I was kind of lukewarm on the front half of it. I liked this back half a lot more because it seemed like more of an unfocused gag comic for the first half before this seemed like much more focused story wise. I don't think there's as much like silly character moments the way there were with Jimmy. Like I really liked those in the first half of it. But the supporting cast was fully developed. Like I've never ever heard of this Jixelle or Jimmy Olsen's sister or Julian. I mean, there were and Porcadillo. I would say there are 4 characters I never heard of that in these 12 issues. I'm like, I'm on board with these characters, and I really enjoy seeing them. Like I was excited to see Jixelle in scenes.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
So I think I think it was very fun. I'd like to read more of these type of characters and stuff. So. Maybe we should just read Hawkeye, because I had a similar reaction to Hawkeye, where I was like, okay, I mean, this is fine, but I don't really care. And I bet people like really got on board, I think, with the Hawkeye as it went on. So
yeah. Well, I mean, Hawkeye famously, I mean, it took like 3 years to get them like 12 issues, but it was very good.
We should. Good job, Matt Fraction. You did it.
Yeah. We're still reading Fear Itself for April Fool's Day because that comic's terrible. But I don't think that's
not
his
best work.
Yeah, I still don't know really much about it. I've never read any Fear Itself. But maybe one day. We'll see. It is time for us to move on to the life and times of Scrooge McDuck. We're on chapter 4 here. But I guess any last words about Jimmy Olsen before we jump right over?
That's good.
No. All right.
He's a good pal, I guess.
He's my best pal. But Scrooge is not my pal. Scrooge is a little bit of a stingy jerk, but we'll see. We'll see how stingy he is in this one. He's working as a cowhand for that ranch guy. He's not doing well with this illegal barbed wire it's like a fence that he's been tasked with cutting down.
Well, basically, what would happen in the American West is that people would drive cattle, from east to west. And then they invented barbed wire, and people started laying out their property, and it made it really difficult for cattle ranchers to basically move their product across the plains because there were too many fences and everything like that.
Right. So yeah, it's like if you own the property, you're like, well, I don't want cattle marching through it, and so it kind of stops being able to have a cattle drive from Minnesota or whatever, or not Minnesota, Montana to Texas or whatever. Because all of a sudden you have all this land that's been partitioned off.
Yeah, so basically I'm assuming what Scrooge was doing is his job was to cut this said wire.
He was all covered in it. Poor Scrooge, man. That sounds like a rough job. But
Scrooge is a deathmatch wrestler. He just loves barbed wire, light tubes. He just covers himself in it and then runs at his opponent.
I knew we'd talk about wrestling. I think Scrooge could do it, man. All that barbed wire. Maybe I'd like to see somebody use Scrooge wrapped in barbed wire as a weapon. That would also be good.
Sure.
But yeah. So this rancher is like, this sucks. I can't pay y'all anymore. I'm sorry. I gotta let y'all go. I did not expect this chapter to start off like that. And so Scrooge is a little bummed. He is like going around. He finds a little mine where he's like, hey, it's like an abandoned little mine. What's going on over here? And he just finds he finds what he thinks is a tiny bit of silver, and he goes to get it like judged, appraised, and it's just copper. He's like, too bad. He's talking to this other guy in some bar, Marcus Daly. I don't know if his name is important, but I wrote it down. And that guy's also got a silver mine. At least he thought, the Anaconda silver mine. Also just copper. So they're both just kind of like wallowing a little bit, and they're like, we thought we were gonna get rich, but just copper. Bah. But then they get introduced to electricity. Ooh, because they're trying to like light this gas light, but they don't realize it's electric, and they're screwing it up. And poor Scrooge. I almost called him Donald. Poor Scrooge gets all electrocuted, feathers everywhere.
And much like Teddy Roosevelt, Marcus Daly, real guy, he was called the Copper King of Butte, Minnesota.
That's what it is. All right. I knew it was something familiar. The Copper King. So they find out that electricity.
Because they were making. I was like, oh, you got copper. I guess you're gonna make pennies. And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if this book is gonna come up with it, but like copper wire is fucking expensive now. Like is what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, I know people steal copper for copper wiring and shit.
Yeah, famously a thing that meth heads steal.
Yep.
So I was like, I wonder if that'll come into this book. And then three panels later, here we are.
Jeez, it's funny that you said meth heads. It feels like everybody else in this town acts like a meth head. We'll get to that. So they learned that to make electricity, to make the wire, you need copper. And they're like, what? The price is skyrocketing. And they so Scrooge runs to the prospector's outfit store where the guy his sign is like $30 crossed out, $20 crossed out, $10. But as he sees everybody running over, he puts another 0 on there, and he's like, "Yeah, I like this guy. This guy knows how to make some money here." And you need this. I guess you can't be a prospector without a prospector's outfit. But he sells his grandpa's gold dentures for the money. And then while he's digging, he meets Howard Rockerduck, who I'm guessing is like a Rockefeller pastiche kind of thing. Yeah. Yes. He struck gold in 1949, and his family, his wife and his kid are like in this coach, and they're like, "Dad, don't hang out with that poor person. Let's go." And he's like, "No, I want to hang out in here. This is mine. It's fine." He teaches Scrooge all about the tricks of the trade and how to dig the right way, and they find like a nice copper vein, and they go to get this appraised again. And then this Rockefeller guy is like, here's what's going on. Scrooge's vein of copper is a little bit closer to the surface than that Anaconda mine is, and so the law says that if Scrooge's land is where it's at the top, then he owns the whole thing. He owns the whole Anaconda mine that other guy that Marcus Daly owned. But the thing is, he's like telling the lawyer about this law, and the lawyer's trying to look it up. And he has to be the sole person on the land when they come to check it out, so that he can be like, I guess it's like sort of a squatter's rights kind of deal. But everybody hears this news. This is where everybody starts acting like meth heads, and they're running out to the mine, and they want to be like on this land when the lawyer comes out there to declare that it belongs to whoever is the last person standing, and it becomes like this all-out brawl. At first, I thought like Scrooge was going to get rid of them pretty handily. He tricks them all into like the shed and then throws the whole shed in the water, but they're still coming at him, man. It's a damn war. It's huge. He's like his Clan McDuck like rage comes out, and he's like red in the eye, and he's just going crazy. I like this.
And we should mention, I guess doesn't matter. But anyway, John D. Rocker Duck is a duck character created by Don Rosa, or is it Don Rosa or Carl Barks? I get them confused.
Carl Barks.
Yeah, Carl Barks, and he's the kid in the carriage or whatever. He's like, don't talk to him. So it's setting up a future antagonist.
Oh.
Good to know. Good. I'm glad you're reading all those notes. We have the lawyer is also coming out there with the Rockefeller duck, and they have to bring out his whole desk with all his books. It's like on a horseback, and he's trying to like research, like, hey, look up that law. And by the time they get there, Scrooge is the only one standing, and he becomes the owner. But it turns out this Rockefeller duck was like part owner of the mine as well. He's like giving up his half. It seems like a bad business decision, but
no, he's supposed to fuck over his son.
Yeah, he does it on purpose because he's like, my son will be rich enough.
What does he specifically says? My son will do. It'll do my son John good to earn a little bit less unearned wealth.
That's pretty good. Pretty damn good.
And then he goes and buys a horsewhip to apparently beat his son.
I also love how this judge is always reading like Masters of the Mississippi about riverboats from a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
that's right. He does say at one point he's looking for the law, and he's like, "I found it." I was like, "You did?" I was like, "Yeah, this book I was reading, I lost it." I like it.
Yeah.
So he's now the part owner of the mine. The other guy, Marcus Daly, is like, "Well, I'll let you." Yeah, I'll sell it to you for 10,000, or I'll buy it for 10,000. Sorry.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get this law changed. I'm gonna get this back. It's gonna just be expensive, or you could just take the money right now.
Yeah, and Scrooge is like, I'm never gonna let go of this. This is like my new future. I can feel it. But he gets a telegram from home saying, "Come back to the Scotland clan. We're in trouble. Stop. Don't stop. Stop." I like that joke. And he's like, all right, well, fine. Sells his claim for 10,000. Overall, it felt like we got this first leg of his journey. He came to America, made $10,000, and now he's heading home. This is like, it feels like a nice little, not an ending, but a nice little midpoint of some sort. But that's that. Yeah, that's chapter 4. So now I really don't know where he's going. I know he's going to Scotland, but I don't know where the story's headed.
And 1913, I'm just on the inflation calculator website, and that's as far back as it goes. $10,000 was $276,000 today. So that's a nice little windfall of like 10 grand back then, where he's got basically an entire, house worth of money.
He's like, oh, I only got 10K to show for my name in 6 years, and I go, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say that today that would be pretty impressive, Scrooge.
Maybe in not 1994 when fucking money bags were everywhere, but whenever this book was written.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Good job, Scrooge. Very proud.
And we're talking about 30 years earlier, actually, of inflation. 30 more years of inflation that we don't know.
Yeah, so it would be probably even more. I think inflation was less of an issue back then. Year to year, but still, yeah, it's probably over $350,000 worth of, value that he's bringing in. I don't know. Does he have banks? I don't know how he's protecting his money in this era.
Yeah, he's got to take it all across a boat or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I have a feeling we'll find out in the next issue. I have a feeling, and this is not me. I'm just telling you. Anytime I don't know something, I'm like, it's an open thread. If it's not in the issues, somebody else is going to write it. Maybe, perhaps you, listener, perhaps you can write the way the story will end.
Yeah,
this story.
I continue to read his notes on this issue. He mentioned that the thing about the prospector outfit being $100 is because there's a one-off gag where he's like, I don't have this family heirloom because I used it to buy a prospector outfit. So he puts the scene in the book.
Wow. All right. Well, that's pretty good.
Just like a 1960s like joke, and he's like, "Well, I gotta explain the history of that."
I like the joke. I think he did a good job adapting the joke to a modern era. Good job. Yeah. So next time, chapter 5. Oh, the other thing we're doing next time. Hey, it's spooky month, October time. That's the spookiest month of them all. So we're gonna read some scary comics. We're gonna read Saga of the Swamp Thing. We read volume 1 like forever ago. Was that the last time we read Alan Moore?
No,
I don't know.
I would say Supreme is probably the last time.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe.
I'm looking through it. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute. So we're gonna read some Alan Moore. We're gonna read Saga of the Swamp Thing, volume 2. We read volume 1. Who knows how long ago? But this next volume,
6 years ago, January 2017.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Wait, January 2017 is not.
I was gonna say, gotta check your math again there.
Yeah.
What did I say? 6 years ago? Okay.
Yeah.
Episode 45, Saga of the Swamp Thing, Volume 1 by Alan Moore from January 4th, 2017, 4.5 years ago. Pre-switch, pre-Donald Trump being president. That's how long.
Whoa, that's weird.
2017 or 2016?
17.
He was already president.
He was not inaugurated. Technicality.
Yes.
I am technically.
Yes, he was.
I am technically correct. The best guy.
No, you're not.
Okay. Well, roll the tape.
Okay,
So we read Swamp Thing in January 2017, and the next issue we read was Lost in the Andes, which was about the square eggs. So that was also.
Oh wow! Okay, amazing. So we're doing that. I don't remember if I said the issue numbers, but it's 28 through 34, and annual number 2. This is going to be probably a big episode here. That's like that's a lot of comic.
A lot of spooky.
Yeah, a lot of spooks. We're gonna have more spooks coming up later this month. Speaking of spooks, y'all got any spooks on your radars?
Well, I mean, the good news is that Alan Moore comics aren't dense. They're quick reads. They're breezy. You get right through them.
Yep, that's exactly what he's known for. He's a very decompressed storytelling style. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we did Superman by Alan Moore in early 2020. That was probably the last time we've done.
Oh yeah. We did For the Man Who Has Everything, didn't we?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But
spooks. What's going on? Y'all doing scary movies, Chris, for your scary movie podcast? It's not a scary movie podcast. It's a movie podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say, we will be having an episode that comes out in October. We've not recorded it yet. I will say we released our episode, Exit Wounds, DMX, Steven Seagal. We've got a lot of great Steven Seagal stories that we tell in the podcast. It's a funny episode. This is Seagal. I think the last movie where he's the movie star and it was released in theaters, he cut his ponytail and lost weight. He was trying so hard to do what the studio was desperately telling him he had to do.
Oh, Steven Seagal, I'm so sorry.
But you said that DMX was underutilized in this movie.
Correct. Not enough. It's not a true two-hander where they're both co-leads. It's a Steven Seagal movie, and DMX is also there.
Okay. There's a good episode though. I listened to it today. I enjoyed it. It's a good twofer with your Cradle to the Grave and Exit Wounds episodes.
Yes. So yes. We go through all of Tom Green and Tom Arnold and Anthony Anderson's ad-libs in both of these movies, which there's a lot of them.
And they repeat them.
That's how we know they're ad-libs.
The same Oprah bit between the two movies. Same joke by Anthony Anderson and Tom Arnold. That's amazing.
That's pretty incredible. Vince, what about you? You got any spooks happening?
No spooky stuff for me right now. That was a game, my YouTube series on the All My Friends Are Right Here channel, where you can listen to every episode of this show as well. I covered Spanky's Quest for the Game Boy a few weeks ago, so that just came out. I'm excited. You should check that out. I've been doing one episode a month. I've also been on quite a few episodes of Games My Mom Found. Both Minish Cap and Soul Blazer are out, and I recorded another one. I think it's coming out in November. Although Chris is in an episode about Sandman Volume 2, which will be coming out the week of our next episode. So check out Games My Mom Found. Chris is talking all about Sandman Volume 2. So check that out.
Yeah,
what's going
more
on?
Spooky comic.
Yeah, that's a spooky comic. And I think there was a trailer for a Netflix Sandman. I didn't know they were making one of those, but apparently they are.
I know they're making. There's an Audible teleplay of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Netflix live action Cowboy Bebop just launched
John
its
Cho.
like opening credit sequence. Oh, it looks good. I got chills from that thing. They just like recreated the cartoon version.
I love it.
So I'm pretty pumped for it.
I love John Cho so much, so I'm glad to see him getting work. So
as far as the spooks, I'll probably play Metroid Dread when it comes out.
Oh.
That's a spooks time. Boy, I'm not. Who knows when I'm gonna stream again? I don't know. Is it done? We'll see. Maybe. You know how these things go. But what else? Maybe I'll like Metroid Dread so much I'll stream it. No, I think I'm gonna play it while I'm traveling. Actually, so never mind. I can't. Can you stream from an airplane?
If you want to pay for it, I guess. If you want to pay for the bandwidth, I bet it's terrible bandwidth. It's
probably not worth it. I don't think. I probably won't do it. If one lucky listener, if one listener really wants to like fund me streaming from an airplane, I'll work to make it happen, I guess. But it's going to cost you a lot, and it's not worth it. So I wouldn't recommend it. But let's say that I'm available to try.
Okay.
How much should I charge, Vince?
I would say as much as to fund the Daily Planet. That seems like a Jimmy Olsen type prompt.
Really?
Yes.
That guy. Oh, ooh, hold on now. What if I stream me playing Metroid in a plane, but then they inject me with like turtle chemicals?
Yes, I feel like you could charge at least $20,000.
What?
Is that too little or too much?
Rich. That's double what Scrooge made. I'm pumped. All right.
So if there's a listener out there, our Patreon tier is $20,000. You've got to be in it for at least 3 months, and Kia will stream Metroid Dread while being injected with the serum that'll turn him into a turtle on a plane.
Well, no. Shit. Now hold on. I didn't say it would turn me into a turtle. I just said turtle serum, so it's going to be like turtle soup. We'll see what.
No, this is a $20,000 Patreon tier.
Yeah, turtle.
Sorry, you gotta turn into a turtle for the likes and faves.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. All right, y'all. Let's wrap this thing up. It's time to go. Vince, I love you.
I love you too.
Chris, I love you.
I love the porcadillo.
Dude, I love him too. I can't even. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. We love you as well out there. We'll see you next time. Bye.